From watching a few people's videos, I've noticed that a lot of people in their 2014 resolutions have spoken about the fact that they want to read at least one fat book a month. Now, I think fat is a personal thing, because personally I'd consider a book that's about 500 pages long or more to be considered fat, in my opinion, whereas some people think that it's something that's like 800, 900 or even 1,000 pages long. But what is it about them that actually makes us intimidated? Personally, I get intimidated by the size because of the fact that it puts me off from reading more books. I feel as though if I'm reading one large book, then it's taking up the time that I could be finishing like 5 smaller books. But if that one big book is one that I've been wanting to read for ages, then I don't see why I should stop reading it. Now, I know I'm a hypocrite in saying this, I'm just saying what I truly think, but what I actually do does not actually reflect what I'm actually explaining to you in the first place, because I am one of those people that would rather read 5 smaller books than I would read one really large book. That's one of the reasons why I don't read them. The second reason is because of the fact that I get frustrated when I don't finish a book in a certain amount of time. Now, as many of you know, one of my resolutions for 2014 was to actually have fun whilst reading. So I want to get out of the way of being frustrated when I haven't finished a book and just read when I want to read. And if that means that I'm spending 1 month on one book in particular, whether that be one of the Song of Ice and Fire series, for instance, because I'm still yet to read the second one of those, that would be the best idea for me to do. I may take a month reading that because of the fact that it is so humongous and I don't necessarily want to rush reading it, that it may take me a month to actually read it, and I'm fine with that. But it's more of the fact of actually coaxing myself to do it in the first place. I'd still consider one of those books, as well as something that's about 500 pages long, to be just as big. But on the flip side of that, I have a thing with really small books. Like recently I had read a couple of books that are about like 180 pages long, which I thought, oh, I could get through one of those in a day, or I could get through one of those in half a day. That would be a really quick read. But turns out that because of the fact that I'm expecting myself to read it in about a day or half a day, I then get frustrated again that I'm not doing it. Therefore, I tend to get distracted and end up taking a hell of a lot longer reading it than I really should have done. And I know that sounds really stupid, but it's just something psychological in my head where I think to myself that I should be reading it in a certain amount of time. And again, that is something that I really shouldn't be thinking, but I just can't help but do. It's just something that's ingrained in my mind that I feel as though a certain amount of pages means a certain amount of hours, and I feel as though I should be reading it in a certain amount of time, when that just isn't the case, and you should just read it when you feel as though you're okay to read it. So in my opinion, fat books are just as daunting as really slim books, and I'm not quite sure if I'm the only one that feels the same way about like really skinny books, or whether I'm just weird, but you know, whatever. Everyone has their own different reading quirks, and that's just one of mine. But I know for definite that I want to get through the second and third books of the Song of Ice and Fire series at least this year, which would be good, and I want to just start them knowing that I am going to be taking a little while of doing it and just not caring and just enjoying the story for what it is, because so far after reading Game of Thrones it's an absolutely brilliant series, so I'm hoping that it will continue on like that. Do you guys have any opinions on fat and skinny books? If so, I'd absolutely love to hear them. I'd love to have a little discussion with you down in the comments, so feel free to chat to me, and I will speak to you soon. Bye!